5 years. 54 floors. 1 billionaire CEO. And exactly 0 times had Rafael Castillo looked at me like I was a woman. To him I was a calendar. A coffee order. A quiet voice behind his office door. Then one charity gala changed everything. Because the man who ignored me for 5 years froze when I walked into that ballroom. And by the end of the night, Chicago's most powerful CEO was holding my waist like he was afraid someone else would take me. My name is Clara Morgan. I was 28 years old. I wore thick glasses, oversized cardigans, flat shoes. My hair lived in the same tight bun every single day. At Castillo Enterprises, I had mastered one thing better than anyone else: being invisible. Every morning, I stepped into that marble lobby before sunrise. Every morning, I rode the elevator to the 54th floor. Every morning, I walked into Rafael Castillo's office with his espresso, his schedule, and every crisis already solved before he knew it existed. And every morning, he barely looked at me. "Your schedule for today, Mr. Castillo," I said, placing his coffee on his desk. Rafael stood by the floor-to-ceiling windows. Custom Italian suit. Steel gray eyes. A face that made women lose their balance and men straighten their backs. He didn't turn around. "Cancel the 5 o'clock with Peterson. Move the board meeting to tomorrow." "Already done," I said. "I anticipated you'd want more time with the Morrison acquisition files." That made him pause. Only for a second. Then he turned slightly. "Fine. Anything else requiring my immediate attention?" I held my leather portfolio tighter. "The Children's Hospital Charity Gala is tomorrow night." His jaw tightened. "Ms. Winters canceled this morning due to a family emergency." I kept my voice steady. "Would you like me to arrange another escort?" He was silent. Then he said the sentence that ruined my entire hiding place. "No need." I blinked. "You'll accompany me." My fingers tightened around the portfolio. "I'm sorry, sir. I don't think I heard correctly." "You heard perfectly." He finally turned to face me, not really looking at me, looking through me. "You know my business associates. You understand the deals. You can handle any conversation that arises." His voice was calm, final. "It makes perfect sense." I almost laughed. Not because it was funny, because Rafael Castillo had just invited me to one of Chicago's most exclusive galas the same way he assigned a quarterly report. "Sir," I said carefully, "I don't have anything appropriate to wear." He picked up his coffee. "Take the corporate card." My stomach dropped. "Buy whatever you need. Consider it a work expense." A work expense. That was what I was. Competent. Useful. Invisible. But not for long. That afternoon I stood outside Bergdorf's with Rafael's corporate card burning inside my purse. I had never spent more than $52 on a single piece of clothing. $52. And now I was standing in front of dresses that probably cost more than my monthly rent. A sales associate approached me. Perfect hair. Perfect posture. Perfect smile. "May I help you?" Her name tag said Maya. "I need something for the Children's Hospital Charity Gala tomorrow night." My voice came out too soft. Maya's expression changed immediately. "The gala." I nodded. Her eyes swept over my cardigan, my glasses, my shoes. But unlike most people, she didn't laugh. She smiled. "Then we're not finding you something nice." She reached for my hand. "We're finding you something unforgettable." For the next 3 hours Maya transformed me. Not into someone new. Into someone I had buried. The midnight blue gown was the last one she brought. Silk. Soft. Elegant. It hugged curves I had spent 5 years hiding under gray wool and safe colors. When I stepped out of the fitting room, Maya stopped talking. That scared me. "What?" I whispered. She shook her head slowly. "Oh, honey." Then she smiled. "There you are." The next morning I called in sick for the first time in 5 years. My hand shook when I pressed send. Rafael replied in 6 words. "Rest. Be ready by 7. That was it. No concern. No question. No idea that I was sitting in a luxury salon while 3 stylists circled me like I was a project. They took my hair down. Soft waves fell over my shoulders. They replaced my thick glasses with contacts. For the first time in years, my emerald eyes looked back at me without a barrier. Makeup. Earrings. Heels. The gown. When I looked in the mirror that evening, I stopped breathing. I didn't look like Rafael Castillo's assistant. I looked like the woman I might have been if I hadn't spent 5 years shrinking. Maya stood behind me. "Remember this face," she said. "It was always yours." At 7:20, I walked into the Grand Plaza Hotel. Late. I was never late. Rafael stood in the lobby checking his watch. Impatient. I almost turned around. Then someone beside him looked at me. Then another man. Then a woman stopped mid-sentence. Heads turned like a wave. Rafael followed their gaze. His eyes landed on me. And for the first time in 5 years, Rafael Castillo truly looked at Clara Morgan. He froze. Completely. I walked toward him slowly, every step louder than my heartbeat. "Excuse me," he said. His voice was rough. "Are you Rafael Castillo?" I asked. He blinked. "I'm sorry. Do we know each other?" A laugh almost escaped me. "It's me, Mr. Castillo." I lifted my chin. "Clara. Your assistant." His face changed. Shock. Recognition. Disbelief. Then something else. Something dangerous. "Clara." He said my name like he had never tasted it before. "You look different." I smiled. "I hope that's not a problem, sir." For the first time since I'd known him, Rafael had no immediate answer. That should have been my warning. Because when a man like Rafael Castillo finally sees you, the whole world starts seeing you too. We entered the ballroom together. And every head turned. Men stared. Women whispered. Cameras flashed. I felt Rafael's hand settle at the small of my back. A simple touch. Professional enough to explain. Possessive enough to feel. My breath caught. His fingers flexed once against the silk of my gown. "Relax," he murmured. I leaned closer. "I am relaxed. You're gripping your clutch like it owes you money." Despite myself, I smiled. Then Senator Hartwell approached with his wife. "Rafael, wonderful to see you." His eyes moved to me. "And who is this lovely lady?" Before I could speak, Rafael's hand pressed gently against my back. "Clara Morgan." A pause. "My companion for the evening." Not assistant. Not employee. Companion. The word moved through me like champagne. I smiled at Mrs. Hartwell and asked about the hospital's new pediatric wing. Her face lit up. Within 3 minutes, we were discussing donor outreach, medical grants, and the new family recovery suites. Rafael stood beside me, silent, listening. That almost made me nervous. Because Rafael Castillo was rarely silent unless he was calculating. All night he watched me. When I spoke with investors. When I laughed with board members' wives. When I corrected a man who misquoted the Morrison acquisition timeline. When I stepped away from a photographer without looking awkward. For 5 years, I had been managing his life from behind a desk. That night, I managed his world from beside him. And he finally noticed. When the orchestra began playing, Rafael turned to me. "Would you care to dance?" I stared at him. "Are you asking as my boss?" His mouth twitched. "No." I placed my hand in his. "Then yes." The dance floor seemed too bright. Too public. Too dangerous. Rafael pulled me close. Not too close. But close enough that I could smell his cologne. Clean. Expensive. Controlled. "You're full of surprises tonight," he murmured near my ear. I looked up at him. "I'm the same person I've always been, Mr. Castillo." His eyes locked onto mine. "Perhaps you're just seeing me for the first time." His jaw tightened. Not with anger. With realization. For the rest of the dance, he studied my face like he was searching for everything he had missed. "Tell me about yourself," he said. "The real you." I laughed softly. "You've had 5 years to ask." "I know." His voice dropped. "I'm asking now." I should have pulled away. I should have remembered that when the music ended, I would return to being his assistant. The woman with his calendar. His coffee. His silence. Instead I said, "There's more to discover than you might imagine." His hand tightened at my waist. I'm beginning to understand that. By Monday morning, everything had changed. And nothing had changed. I sat at my desk in my gray cardigan. Glasses back on. Hair back in the bun. Flat shoes tucked under the chair. But the office air felt different. Charged. Every time Rafael's office door opened, I felt it before I saw him. His eyes. On me. Again. 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 He found reasons to come to my desk. Documents he could have emailed. Questions he already knew the answers to. A pen he did not need. When he handed me a folder, his fingers brushed mine. We both froze. Only for 1 second. But enough. Clara, he said. His voice was softer than usual. About Saturday night. I looked down at the folder. The hospital raised substantial funds, Mr. Castillo. That's not what I meant. I looked up. He leaned closer. And you know it. Before I could respond, the elevator doors opened. Victor Moro stepped out. I knew him immediately. Everyone in Chicago business knew Victor Moro. Rafael's biggest rival. Former college roommate. A man with a perfect smile and a reputation for destroying companies while making women feel lucky to be in the room. Rafael, Victor said. My old friend. Rafael's face turned cold. Victor, what brings you here uninvited? Business. Victor's eyes moved to me, then paused. Too long. And who might this be? My personal assistant, Rafael said sharply. Clara Morgan. Victor smiled. Recognition flashed across his face. He stepped closer. The same Clara Morgan from the Gala. My stomach dropped. The photos didn't do you justice. Photos. I had forgotten the photographers. Rafael had too. Or maybe he hadn't. Maybe men like Rafael were used to being watched. I was not. After Victor left, Rafael pulled up the society pages. There we were. Dancing. Laughing. Looking like a couple. The headlines made my breath stop. Mystery woman captures billionaire's heart. Who is Rafael Castillo's stunning new love? This changes everything, I whispered. Rafael turned from the screen. I'm so sorry. I didn't think about the media attention. This could affect your reputation. Your business relationships. The board. Clara. I stopped. Look at me. I did. His steel gray eyes held mine. I'm not sorry it happened. My heart stumbled. The only thing I regret, he said, is that it took me 5 years to truly see you. I didn't know what to do with that. So I did what I always did. I worked. For the next few weeks, the lines blurred. Rafael stayed late. I stayed later. Chinese takeout replaced formal dinners. His office sofa became the place where conversations stretched past midnight. He learned things about me he should have known years ago. That I spoke 4 languages. That I graduated summa cum laude from Princeton. That I turned down better offers because Castillo Enterprises had been the place I wanted to prove myself. One evening, he set down his takeout container and looked at me. I need to ask you something. I braced myself. With your qualifications, you could work anywhere. He leaned forward. Why did you stay here? I looked at the city lights behind him. At first, the job. And later, I should have lied. I didn't. Later, it became you. His eyes darkened. I swallowed. I watched you build this company. I watched you donate anonymously. I watched you remember every employee's emergency even when you pretended not to care. My voice softened. I fell in love with the man you were when you thought no one was watching. Rafael didn't move. And now, he asked. Now I'm terrified. Why? Because loving someone means they can hurt you. He crossed the space between us slowly. Then he cupped my face with both hands. You won't lose me, Clara. His thumb brushed my cheek. I promise. Our first real kiss was quiet. Then it wasn't. 5 years of silence cracked open between us. When we finally pulled apart, I knew there was no going back. But love inside an office is one thing. Love in public is another. And Victor Moro knew exactly where to place the knife. He found me 3 days later at my coffee shop. My quiet place. The place no one from Castillo Enterprises ever visited. Except somehow Victor knew. Miss Morgan, he said, sliding into the chair across from me. What a pleasant surprise. I closed my book. Mr. Moro. Please. Victor. No, thank you. His smile didn't move. I wanted to apologize if I made you uncomfortable at Rafael's office. You didn't. Good. He leaned in. Then maybe I can warn you instead. I stood to leave. Rafael has a pattern, he said. That stopped me. Victor noticed. He becomes intensely focused on a woman. Makes her feel special. His voice lowered. Then he moves on when the novelty fades. I gripped my book. You're mistaken. Am I? He tilted his head. Has he introduced you to his family? My fingers tightened. His private circle? I said nothing. Or are you still his secret? The word hit harder than it should have. Secret. That's what I thought, Victor said softly. You deserve to shine, Clara. I walked away. But his voice followed me for days. Because he had seen the thing I was trying not to see. Rafael kissed me after hours. Held my hand in empty elevators. Looked at me like I mattered when the office lights were low. But in meetings I was still Miss Morgan. His assistant. When his mother called one evening inviting him to family dinner, I heard him say he was too busy. He didn't mention me. He didn't ask if he could bring someone. That night, we worked late. He noticed immediately. Something's bothering you. It's nothing. Clara. I looked up. I know when you're lying. Something inside me snapped softly. What are we, Rafael? He went still. Really? I removed my glasses and set them beside my keyboard. Because from where I sit, I'm still your assistant who you happen to kiss after hours. His face tightened. That's not true. Isn't it? I stood. You haven't told anyone. That's complicated. No. My voice shook. It's only complicated if you're ashamed of me. His eyes flashed. I am not ashamed of you. Then prove it. The challenge hung between us. The next morning, proof arrived in the form of an invitation. The Davidson wedding. A high-profile society event. Media. Old money. Family names. Everyone watching. Rafael stood in his office doorway. I'll need you to clear my schedule for next Saturday. I looked at the invitation in his hand. For the Davidson wedding? Yes. My chest tightened. Of course, Mr. Castillo. The title landed between us like glass. Should I arrange for your usual companion service to find a suitable date? His head snapped up. What is that supposed to mean? It means you'll need someone appropriate for such a public event. I forced myself to hold his gaze. And we both know that's not me. Clara, you're being ridiculous. Then take me. Silence. Introduce me as your girlfriend, I said. Not your assistant. His hesitation lasted maybe 2 seconds. But 2 seconds can destroy a woman. I nodded. That's what I thought. It's complicated. You already said that. My family. The board. The media attention. No, Rafael. I picked up my portfolio. It's simple. I looked straight at him. You either choose me in the light, or you lose me in the dark. That afternoon, Victor called me. I heard about the Davidson wedding. I said nothing. He's going alone, isn't he? Still nothing. I have a proposition. No. Double your salary. Executive title. Full recognition. His voice became smooth. I'll treat you like the accomplished woman you are instead of hiding you like a shameful secret. I hung up. But the damage was done. By Friday evening, the executive suite felt like winter. Rafael avoided the subject. I finished every task. Updated every file. Sent every note. Then I stood. Mr. Castillo, I need to speak with you. He looked up. The formal title hit him. What is it? I removed my glasses. Placed them on my desk. Then I pulled the letter from my drawer. I'm resigning. Effective immediately. For the first time, I saw Rafael Castillo truly panic. What? I've accepted a position with Moro Industries. His face hardened. Victor. He offered me an executive position. He's using you to get to me. Maybe. My voice stayed calm. But at least he's not ashamed to be seen with me. That landed. I saw it. Clara, please. No. I placed the resignation letter on the desk. I am good enough to manage your life. My throat tightened. Good enough to share your office. Your secrets. Your bed. His eyes flinched. But not your life. He stepped closer. You deserve better. I know. You deserve better than me. That stopped me. His voice had changed. The CEO was gone. The armor was gone. Only Rafael stood there. And I'm too selfish to let you go, he whispered. I froze. Do you want to know the real reason I hid this? I didn't answer. It isn't shame. He ran a hand through his hair. It's fear. Fear of what? Losing you. I almost laughed. That makes no sense. My parents had the perfect marriage. His voice broke slightly. 27 years. They loved each other like nothing else existed. He looked toward the window. Then my mother died in a car accident. The room went silent. My father never recovered. He lived 7 more years, but not really. He swallowed. Everyone said he died of heart failure. His eyes came back to mine. I know better. My anger cracked. Just enough. I built my life around control, he said. No vulnerability. No dependence. No one I couldn't survive losing. He stepped closer. So when you became important. His voice lowered. I told myself if I kept you compartmentalized, I could protect us. That's not protection. I know. It's cowardice. I know. My eyes burned. You hurt me. I know. You made me feel like something you were hiding. His jaw tightened. That will haunt me for the rest of my life. I wanted to stay angry. I needed to. But then he reached for his phone. What are you doing? He dialed. Then looked straight into my eyes. Mother, it's Rafael. My heart stopped. About dinner tomorrow night. A pause. I'd like to bring someone very special. My hand flew to my mouth. Her name is Clara. Another pause. And she's the woman I'm going to marry if she'll have me. I stopped breathing. Yes, he said into the phone. I said Mary. His eyes never left mine. We'll see you at 9. He hung up. The office felt too small. Rafael. I should have done that sooner. Yes. I know. Before I could say more, slow clapping came from the doorway. Victor Moro stood there, smiling. How touching. Rafael's face turned deadly. Get out. Oh, I would. Victor stepped inside. But I'm afraid Miss Morgan has already signed a contract with my company. Rafael looked at me. I didn't move. Victor smiled wider. And while you've been playing romance with your assistant, I've been acquiring enough shares of Castillo Enterprises to call for a vote of no confidence. My stomach dropped. The board meets Monday. Victor's eyes glittered. And with evidence of your inappropriate relationship with an employee, I expect they'll remove you as CEO. Rafael moved toward him. I stepped between them. No. Victor looked pleased. Smart woman. Then he turned to me. You start Monday, darling. I lifted my chin. You're right, Victor. Rafael went still. I did sign your contract. Victor's smile returned. But I never submitted it to HR. His smile faltered. I reached into my purse, pulled out the folded papers, and tore them in half. So legally, I never accepted. Victor's face changed. You little. I'd be careful with your next words. My voice was quiet, but it carried, because I recorded our conversation yesterday. I held up my phone, the one where you tried to manipulate me into leaving Rafael. Victor paled. And while we're discussing records, I continued, I've spent 5 years managing Rafael Castillo's business life. I stepped closer. You made the mistake of assuming I only took coffee orders. Rafael's eyes sharpened. What did you find? I looked at Victor. Illegal trading patterns. Shell purchases. Quiet shareholder pressure. Enough to interest the FSC. Victor's charm vanished. This isn't over. Yes, Rafael said behind me. It is. Security arrived 2 minutes later. Victor left without another word. When the doors closed, Rafael turned to me. You compiled evidence against him? I put my glasses back on. I've been your assistant for 5 years. Then I smiled. I pay attention. He laughed. A real laugh. Then he pulled me into his arms. Remind me never to underestimate you again. I looked up at him. Don't worry. My hand rested against his chest. I won't let you. 8 months later, I walked back into the same ballroom where everything had begun. But this time, I wasn't Rafael Castillo's mysterious companion. I was his fiancée. The emerald gown I wore matched my eyes. My hair fell in waves. No gray cardigan. No haiving. No serinking. Rafael held out his hand as the orchestra played the same song from the charity gala. May I have this dance? I smiled. As your assistant? His eyes softened. As my future wife. We danced beneath the chandeliers while Chicago watched. This time I didn't care who whispered. This time, Rafael didn't care who photographed us. When he spun me once, I laughed freely. He pulled me back against him. Any regrets? He asked. Only one. His smile faded. What? That it took us 5 years to find each other when I was right there all along. He pressed his forehead to mine. Then we'll spend the rest of our lives making up for lost time. 1 year later, I walked down the aisle in a custom Varawang gown. Rafael stood at the altar. Not cold. Not controlled. Not hiding. Just a man looking at the woman he loved. In front of everyone. His family. His board. The press. The city. When we exchanged vows, he promised never to make me feel invisible again. I promised never to hide my true self from the world. And when he kissed me, the room erupted. Victor Moro, meanwhile, was facing federal charges. His empire collapsed under the weight of his own arrogance. People called our story a fairy tale. The billionaire CEO and the invisible assistant. But they were wrong. Fairy tales make transformation look magical. Mine wasn't magic. It was 5 years of silence. 1 night of courage. 1 man finally opening his eyes. And 1 woman finally deciding she deserved to be seen.